Welcome back to the show. Hey, today I'm in the office and I'm doing a little video editing, so I thought I would share with you guys some tips and tricks on post-production editing. Tips and tricks, baby! Tips and tricks! So stay tuned.
When you are putting new footage in and you want to apply an effect to it, it's better sometimes to apply the effect to the whole source footage as opposed to putting the footage down on the timeline and then applying it. So let me show you what I'm saying here. Basically, I'll take this footage again I have for intro. I'm going to drop it down here, and then it builds this new sequence automatically to match the frame size that I had for the original footage. Anyways, here, under the footage here, if I go to apply an effect, say I go and put blur and sharpen, I put camera blur here. So now I have that effect tied to this particular piece of footage, and I can play on the program monitor, and you'll see what I'm saying, and it's blurred. Well, the thing is, that is only going to blur this piece of footage here. But sometimes it's much better, and I am going to back out of this. I'll take the effect away, Control Z, show you that it's not blurred anymore, and the effect is no longer on this piece of footage. But here, back at the source, if we apply camera blur here, we immediately got our footage was updated to be blurred because the entire source footage, the entire 34 seconds here, has been blurred as opposed to just this piece here that was dropped in the timeline. Another thing I've found to be a great time saver is when you're able to replace an image that you already have in a scene with, whether it be an image or it be footage, you'd be able to replace it with another image or footage that you might have off here under your project. So as an example, let's look at this hotel here in the background here. This is the image representing it here that's highlighted here in gray. So we're going to go and we're going to add an effect to it. We'll go under video effects, say distort, and here's lens distortion. We'll add that to it. So we'll go under effect controls and we'll see that it's been added. And let's just add, let's give it some characteristics here. Curvature will make 68, so it looks kind of funky. And then this vertical decentering, we'll hit that off to 38. No, let's move it over just a little bit more. Kind of like the way it was going off into the left there. So now our hotel has just been distorted. Well, now I'm like, well, I don't know if I like that for my backdrop. So I go back down here, make sure it's still selected, and I want to choose another image for my backdrop. And let's say we use this background image here is of a chill water plant. And we want to use that. So rather than go and have to replace, put this in the timeline on top of our original image and eradicate the effect that we had put in, we can actually just hit here on the image in the timeline, hit our right mouse key, and up here there is a tool called Replace with Clip from Bin. And as long as this is selected over here, highlight it, if you hit from bin, it will take that image in and it will keep any effects or any kind of properties that were tied to that image. And you also have the option here of source monitor, which would be over here. So, well, here, let's edit from bin. And there's our image. It's been replaced with the other. It's still got the distorted effects. I can't tell you how many times this has helped. How do you know if an effect has been applied to the footage that's on the timeline and you can view in the program monitor, or if it's an effect that's been applied to the source footage as it's come in? And basically, you just have to hit on the piece of footage and go under Effect Controls. Whatever is tied to the footage within the program, or I should say the timeline and the program monitor, will be here. And these are the effects that are tied to this piece of footage in that respect. But the source footage, as it came in, is shown by hitting this master and the footage name. And that basically shows you that the source footage over here has camera blur tied to it. And again, once you hit the effect on, you'll see that it's on the source footage, but since the program footage is directly tied to that, it also gets affected. So that's how you figure out whether you're working with source or you're working with in footage. So let's go over a production technique. You know, I've got a dancer here, a piece of footage here of a dancer. Here, let me play a little bit of it for you. Now, that looks kind of cool the way it on that particular beat, he just disappears. But I want to sauce it up a little bit more, you know, and add a little bit more to, you know, the dancing that he's doing, kind of pull it out a little better. So what I'm thinking is I am going to do a stop motion capture. And basically that's just going to the end of the piece of footage that we have here. I'm going to zoom in. And I want to go to the very last frame that I have there. There it goes there. And in Adobe Premiere here, we can hit our export frame tool. And what it's going to do is it's going to take that last image there, and we're just going to expand that across the timeline a little bit more and see what it looks like. So make sure import into project to select it, and we hit OK. So we grab our new image over here and we just drop it on the timeline. Let me hover over it so I can see how long it's held for. It's for 3 seconds. Maybe I'll shorten it a little bit here. Maybe about 2 seconds. And let's see what that looks like. Well, that's kind of cool. Okay, well, so this footage, it's not the end of the line here. So I'm going to pull it a little bit further over. And I'm going to cut out around the image that we captured. And I'm going to take that out so it doesn't overlay over the top of it. Let's see what this looks like all together again. That's not bad. That's not bad. So that's how you perform a stop motion capture.